Hi, good afternoon. I hope you can hear me very clearly. Sorry, I'm on a roll today, so you know what? I'm gonna take it with both hands. So, in the title, as you can see, I watched P Valley because everybody was talking about it, and I was really wanting to watch it. Now, how I describe this, if you have not watched it, is a cross between, I'll say, Empire, a little bit of True Blood in there. Snowfall might have, well, Snowfall might be included. I don't know, but the same people who made Empire, I feel, and The Power is the ones I feel who made P Valley. Now, I did see bits of season one, and I'm on season two, obviously, but I saw something in it in one of the episodes. Now, even though it is full of strippers and a lot of, the good stuff and all that stuff, now, one of my bridges always told me when you're watching something, you have to watch everything that's going on, like the why, the when, and the why, and the conclusion or part afterwards. Why do people do what they do? Why do they you know, every character and person has a story, and you always, when you're watching a program, you have to get to know the character. Now, I am going to talk about one of the characters, but as you know, if you have watched P Valley before, right? There's Uncle Clifford and a few of his girls from season one and stuff like that, right? Obviously, this is a film for men, as well, I suppose, and whatever. Hi, hood therapy. But you know what's interesting, right? Right, it sort of open your eyes to how people you'll say in the ghetto. Well, is it ghetto? Well, I say it's ghetto in a sort of ways because there's little ghetto bits in it, and I just think, Ross, that's kind of a bit much. Anyway, I watched it. I watched most of it. Most of it I've watched now. I mean, there is parts where I'm surprised, and there's always, like I said, there's a reason why characters behave why they behave why they behave. There's a reason for everything. I've never seen it, but I've heard about it. Yeah, exactly. Now, obviously, like I said, with most black, uh, I don't know, how can I say, series and stuff, it's always one way road, like gang, something, somebody go in prison, some like you have the church, you have the certain stuff involved. Now, there's a lot of stories around surrounding the girls who strip in P Valley, right? Each one has a story. I mean, most of them, the main characters who's around Uncle Clifford, Mercedes. There's another lady. I think there's another lady who's got a baby with a white man. There's there's new strippers that's entered. There's also a murder, which later on you kind of find out the reasons behind the murder, but then you see ghostly figures, parishioner, what's it? What do they call it? Ghostly figures, ghostly things happen, paranormal thing happen. Now, in most of these movies, most of these programs, they don't show all that. They don't show they show certain stuff, but not how it looks. Now, being that it's set in Mississippi, the most racist space in America, you do see some of the history of Mississippi explained within the program. Now, like I said, when you're watching it, you cannot be kind of like, oh my God, kind of situation, or OMG, da, 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 because there will be parts where you'll see sexual, explicit things happening. So you have to be very, very precise and watch. I mean, some parts you can fast forward if you don't want to watch all the other extras, you know what I mean? But bear in mind, this is yeah, there's a ghost in it. Surprisingly, something happened with the characters. They killed somebody, which led from season 1, the finale of season 1, to season 2. They kill somebody, and like it's explained in such a way, um, right? You really get it. Like there's even light work in there, supposedly thrown in there. You'll see people like, because I know of the ghetto ghost. Trust you to say that hood therapy. Yeah, it's interesting the you know, you see certain stuff now. Like I said, being the how it's set around the pandemic and stuff like that, because they talk about the pandemic, they talk about trying to get back to the club, trying not to get it sold. They even find a way to do stuff through the pandemic. It was quite mad. But what I can say is like these people are very inventive. Okay, now like I said, for people's who's not about the Kama Sutra and all that stuff, you'll see a lot of stuff. Okay, you'll see a lot of stuff. So you have to be not one of like, oh my God kind of person. It's got to watch, observe, but there is subtle information in there. Now, I watch a few reviews on P Valley, right? And they talk about symbolic. There is a few symbolic things that happens in it, but it's whether or not the audience catches it or whether they're just watching it for the women that's on there, right? Because there's a lot of women on there. There's a lot of bodies. There's a lot of what's goodies being shown, being thrown about. So apart from finding out that Clifford, he was a stripper because he goes on the pole himself. Well, I was like, wow, he's on the pole too. But this is later on in the episodes. You'll see that. Now they got to fight to keep the stripper joint open by any means, and also what you come to realize, right? There is a separation in certain stuff where people is trying to get hold of properties and they're willing to pay money, and there is a bit of rich thing going on, and a wife who's got to consider staying with her family or going on the move with one of the artists in there. I'm not going to give too much away because I don't know how much people know about P Valley. Now, like, there's loads of ways that you can get the P Valley. I literally had to get the 7-day free one for the time being. So I had to binge watch the thing. Now, there is a character that caught my eye, mind you, but I did hear about him before. His name is Diamond. Let me show you him. His name is Diamond. I hope my thing don't play up. Now, this is Diamond. Now, Diamond, I heard a few things about him still on a few reviews. And I went and I looked up some of the stuff. Now, I always like to know backstories or stuff sometimes, because sometimes they could be real life characters that they are portraying. It could be made up fictional character. It could be a couple people in real life that they've thrown into one. Now, this character here, now, he has a whole story behind him. So I'm going to tell you his story. So it says in P Valley Season 2 introduces Diamond Pink, the former bodyguard, as a healing root worker. But doing so, the series amplifies Black Southerners and their long-standing relationship with slave folk magic. In P Valley's fictional Deep South city of Chacalisa, Black Southern culture is central, from the accents, the music, to the street club culture. The series has succeeded in providing an accurate portrayal of Southern living. Now it is highlighting another fracture that is often not depicted in mainstream Black people's relationship with magic. Now, Diamond Taylor, which is this guy, is part of a chosen family that makes up the Pink, where the first season introduces him as a former military member turned strip club bodyguard, a role that he gave up after a fatal shooting that took place in season 1. Now, the second season probably introduces him as a root worker hoodoo practitioner. In season's second episode, 7 pounds of pressure, he proceeds to heal Mercedes' shoulder that has given out, but magically removing 7 pounds of pressure from the area to add to the supernatural moment. He then weighs it on a set of scales, declaring that the same amount of pressure it needed to pull a trigger of a gun is leading the reveal that it was Mercedes who fatally shot Matavius during season 1 finale. So, hoodoo, which is also known as a root work conjurer in American, I'm not going to say the African American because I know some Americans hate it, American or indigenous, so I say indigenous tradition. In hoodoo and in America, Zola Neale Hudson, the famed archaeologist who studied the practice in South in the 30s, wrote that evolved with the African spirituality and the Christian ritual slaves encounter in America, though often confused with voodoo, a West African religion. Hoodoo does not have specific gods and deities and practitioners worship. Instead, there is a belief of spirits and life-giving energies. Okay, so let's see what else they say, because I'm not going to read the whole thing. Now, Diamond's root work has been happening since season 1. Kerry P. Valley, exclusive producer, says, oh, I don't know if I should read all that. They put a lot on it. They put a lot on that one. Where is it? They put a lot on what he's doing. So what he's doing root work. He's removing 7 pounds of pressure from her shoulder, which he puts on a scale, and then he opens the window and lets the winds take it. Now, he being who he is as well, he also has a altar in the space where he is. So you see all this crystal work, all this stuff what he's doing. So when one of the characters went to try to remove a ring from the altar, he warns the character to leave it alone. Now, I was like, wow, they put all this in a program. Now, normally, like they said, it's not normally in a program. They don't show all that. It's only some Pacific programs, unless it's to do with vampires or covens or something else. Considering this is to do with strippers and their lifestyle, their culture, right? It shows a whole heap of backstories as well. I would say yes, it is ghetto in a lot of ways. Yes, it is a lot ghetto. It's a lot ghetto. But I'll tell you one thing though, a lot of people praise this show a lot. And yes, it does keep you watching because you want to know what's going to happen in the next episode. So I thought I put my 5 cents on this too. Now, this was the best part of the show program for me, not only because it is to do with hoodoo, whatever you want to call it. It also shows a bit of energy work going on, which many people don't understand. And being that he got shot in the military, it's understandable that he's able to encapture this I will say not powers or whatever, because anybody can become a like I said, light worker, right? And especially when you're trained. So you can see that he's well trained, because there is also the one, hi, so Omar, there's also the one where the person is awake and they can open up the back as well. So considering that they put this in a program such as this, right? I applaud them for it, because some of the hoodoo practices, unless it is a horror story or otherwise, which, as I said about Spell, for instance, if it's a horror story, they show that part, but very subtly. Now, like I said, this is about strippers. It's a stripper culture. So you'll see the girls go through a whole set of stuff. Like I said, now think about it this way. Some women make money with their bodies, and you cannot judge them. Well, I mean, you can kind of, but you can't judge them because that's the life. They have to do it for all different reasons, right? There's also a situation where one of the girls is doing her job and she gets called because her mom's, I think either the mom or her aunt or some family is drunk and her daughter's there. So you'll see as it goes through. I mean, I am going to give away spoilers. I'm sorry, but right, you know me when I talk about these programs because I see certain stuff. Sometimes you have to look behind or listen carefully to what the character is trying to imply. What is the writer trying to tell you? What are they trying to tell you about the culture? Sometimes you can tell how well the writer research the culture, right? Because they don't just throw up the usual stuff. They'll probably show other stuff which people don't know about this culture, right? Yes, strippers do get into all sorts of stuff, drugs, etc. That is shown in this program. So I'm going to warn those for the faint-hearted, for the women and stuff. There's a few moments where you see a couple trying to spice up their marriage life, and she knows that he is a hoe. So what she does, she brings in a woman from the stripper club to service him, and she gets paid a lot of money, and it turns into something else. So you have to be very, very, not, I wouldn't say open minded, but just look at their stories. Like, why are they stripping? What's the reason behind it? Some of them said they started young. Now, one of the characters talk about when she was young and she developed young. Now, people be talking about the mammies. Now, in this situation, it's the same situation where like something's happened to the daughter. She got abused or something when she was younger, and she tells the aunt or whoever, did I ask him to do this? Now, some cases, some women do it because they have, what do you say? They have to do it. Some women have to do it. Right, obviously, right, some women have pimps and all sorts of situations because I've watched many programs on these people because I tend to like to understand why they do what they do or why people do what they do. I don't know. I should just study psychology or something. I don't even know. But I just find it interesting. It makes you look at your whole life a whole lot different. You tend to think to yourself, even though these are fictional characters, but you think to yourself, man, I have to do better. I have to do better because there's people living like this or in certain situations. And even though this is set in America, it doesn't count out the other places. So I might have gone on a little bit, but what can I say? This program, if we ever get a chance to watch it, yes, at the beginning it's a bit risque. It seems like more of a man's movie, but it's a more not a movie, more of a man program, but it's not because there's a lot of stories involved. There's a lot of people with a lot of hurts, traumas, doing different things. A lot of people lying to themselves, lying about who they are. There's a lot of people who is like, being who they are without apology. And there is a people who is, you know, I don't know. I can't put into words. I'll say you be the judge. For those who's watched P Valley, oh my gosh, I wish I did watch it from a long time ago because I've been waiting so I can watch it, but I couldn't wait no longer, and I just decided, well, as I'm watching Power, let me go watch P Valley and get it over done with. But yeah, it's very, very intriguing program. It puts me it makes me think of True Blood in certain ways. Lots of True Blood. I think it's how the characters look. There's loads of focus on the characters because look how he is shown very hard picture. So even during the filming, you can see that they really thought of the lighting, the all the extra stuff. So what can I say? You tell me what you think. And I just thought I highlight this episode, this scene here, because um, it's not often seen in these situations and stuff like that. So for it to be shown in this situation, it's interesting to me. So, like I said, um, yeah, you'll see a lot of things, but just look beyond there, watch, listen to what the characters are trying to say. What are they trying to say? Um, what is their backstories? Why do they do the things they do? There is another one that everybody has reviewed, and that's the part where one of the characters kills himself, and it's quite sad and stuff like that. But then later on, you find out the backstory why he did what he did. So, I'm not gonna stay on here long winded up. I know it's only like 21 minutes in, but I just thought I'd talk about it really because I've always wanted to watch it. And just like Power, I'm excited to watch programs like this. The harder, the grittier it is, I think the more I like it, to be honest. The more deeper it delves into the mindset of people, the hurts, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything rolling into one. It takes you through all the emotions. At one point, right, sometimes, right, you want to cry with the characters. You don't even know why. Like, you wish that you can be there. I mean, not wish to be there, but you just want to shake them, hold them, tell them off, whatever. But yeah, it's just one of those type of programs, isn't it? Like I said, it's the same with Power with Tyreek. You just want to hold him as a teenager. This is like same similar. This gives same energy as Power. So I hope you enjoyed what I said. I don't know whether I didn't want to give away too much. I just want to just talk about this little piece here. And with that said, you know me, I'm going to jump off. It ain't going to be no long thing, no long drawn out thing, And just have a good day, good afternoon, good night, considering I'm up till 1, which is interesting for me. So take care. So thank you, Hood Therapy. I like your profile picture, by the way. It's interesting. Yeah, the ghetto ghost. Trust you to come up with that. Yeah, be back in a bit. Oh, you're still here. Okay. Yeah, so basically I'm going to go, oh yeah, and Amma. Hi Amma again. But I'm gonna get off. You know me, Hood and Amma, I'm just gonna cut it very quick, like sharp and to the point. And yeah, so till next live, because now I've got a few lives lying up as as usual. You know me, I just mount up, and then I just botch them out one by one, or 2, 3 at a time. So with that said, I'm going to come off. And if you do see it, just take time and watch it. Don't just look at the okay, I'm trying to think of a nice word to say this. No, there isn't a nice word to say. Don't just look at the vaginas. Don't just look at the sex. Let's look at their stories. What's going on with their stories? Like, what's going on with them? And you don't even look at the one-to-ones on certain stuff, right? If you don't want to watch it, just forward it through and get to the other bit, so the other scene, so you can see why and the when and the why. Because you have to ask yourself, why do these characters do what they do? Why? There's always a reason why. There's always a backstory all the time. There's a backstory, but you have to listen and wait for the backstory to come forward. Okay. So I'm not going to turn into teacher mode and stuff like that and start teaching. But with that said, I'm going to come off. So I'll see you later. Bye.